Namaste, namaskaram to all participants. Heartiest welcome to everyone. Namaste, Guruji, Acharya ji, Sonal Mansingh ji. Heartiest welcome to you, ma'am.
Ji, namaste. Hanji.
Namaste.
Namaste.
We are very, very honored and privileged to have you here, ma'am, for our session at the FTP. We are on day 15 today. We will be having the session on Natya Shastra, Sangeeta and Nritya. I will just take this opportunity to introduce Sonal ji. Dr. Sonal Mansingh ji was nominated by the President of India to the Rajya Sabha, which is the upper house of the Indian Parliament, in July 2018 in recognition of her lifelong dedication and service to India's art. She is the recipient of Padma Vibhushan in 2003 from Shri APJ Abdul Kalam ji and Padma Bhushan in 1992 from Shri R. Venkatraman ji. The Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, nominated her as a Navratna for the Swachh Bharat mission. Her unique contribution has been her lifelong work using her knowledge to address socio-cultural issues through the chosen medium of dance as an art educator, cultural activist, and social motivator. As the founder president of Sri Kamakhya Kalapeeth, which is the Center for Indian Classical Dances, established in 1977 at Delhi, she has trained several thousand talented students who are carrying the message of Indian culture globally. She teaches the art as a holistic concept, combining music, yoga, Sanskrit, and cultural traditions of India. We are indeed extremely honored and blessed to have you, ma'am. And I would take this opportunity to hand over this session to you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Namaskaram. Thank you very much for your kind words. Natya Shastra is an ocean, samudra. And even though just the two elements of Nritya and Sangeeta, which I'm supposed to speak on today, it's very difficult to contain something so vast within 1.5 hours. I will try my best, because something that has been an ongoing process, a work in progress, which is to say that trying to understand Natya Shastra. I'm still trying to understand, but I shall share with you whatever I have gained. Natya Shastra. I begin because Sangeeta and Nritya are the main topics today. I usually like to, even if they're not the topics in my general speeches, I'd like to remind ourselves that India is a given name. It is not our name, not the name produced and created emerging from this bhumi. Bharata Bhumi, Bharata Varsha, Bharata. This is the name for our country, our nation, since times immemorial. Now, Asetu Himalaya, what is the geographical? There are many definitions of this land. I just like the simple thing, Asetu Himalaya. the Ram Setu in the south, Dhanushkodi and beyond, and Himalaya, the Mukuta, the crown of India. So the entire land, because west and east, we are bound by oceans and deserts. But Asetu Himalaya and Bharata, Bhava Raga Tala. Very simply put, one of the definitions that I love most and which is very appropriate. So Bharatanatyam Shastra is about Bharata, Bhava, Raga, Tala. These are the these form the composite word of what we call Natya Shastra. And Bhava is, of course, emotions, feelings, expressions. Raga, which denotes music, melody, also love and attachment. Raga, Vairagya, Raga, Viraga. And Tala, that is a pramana, measure, the measure between two claps or a measure between silences. So I would say rhythm, distance, measure, that's Tala. Bhava Raga Tala Bharata. Interestingly, our neighbor Tibet, India is known, Bharat is known as Gagar, the land of dance. And it's so appropriate. So no wonder that the god of gods, Mahadeva, is given the title of Nataraja, the king of dance, the king of dancers, actors. And the feminine principle of creation, Devi, is known as Nateshwari. Ishwari, the supreme goddess of dance, of acting. And from this beautiful concept emerges our concept of creation. The concept of Ardhanarishwara, therefore, and from here the Ardhanarishwara, Devi and Devata, Mahadeva, Nateshwari, Nataraja. The concept of the feminine, graceful, vibrant, but very graceful, Lasyamaya, that is Lasya, and Tandava, the male, that is the vibrant, powerful male. So Ardhanarishwara, Lasya, Tandava, Nateshwari, Nataraja, and these are the presiding deities of Nritya and Sangeeta as we understand by the word Bharata. Now, I would like to take you quickly because there's so much to be said, and as I mentioned that time is limited. I come to the dating of Natya Shastra. It's very strange that in Bharata, in our country, the history is so long that 500 years here or there, 1,000 years here or there doesn't matter. Generally, it is believed that it is one of the most debated issues, and it is now given any time between 2nd century BCE to 4th century CE. And there's a gap of 600 years. Doesn't matter. I would like to believe, I would like to imagine that it is even older, but this is not to be debated. What is very interesting is that Bharata Muni, the author of Natya Shastra, has mentioned at least 24 names of Natyacharyas who lived before him. And this is a wonderful tradition of humility and acknowledging in our country, in our traditions, that we are not Swayambhu. I'm not the only one. Before me, it has happened. Before me, so many gurus and Natyacharyas have taught. They held the parampara, And that is how it has come to me. So this is what Bharata Muni also does. And by the way, there are other Bharatas also, so we should not mix up. There is Jada Bharata, the rishi, who was so completely deep down in his samadhi that nothing mattered. He didn't feel anything, Jada. Another Bharata is the son of Shakuntala and Dushyanta, and we believe that from him the name Bharata has come. And the Bharata, the younger brother of Sri Ramachandra, and of course our Bharata Muni. So this is also very interesting. Other interesting fact that is often mentioned is that Bharata Muni is one, but Bharata as a word, cumulative, belongs to the clan, a whole clan, Kunba, Kula, of dancers, actors, singers, performers. So we are all Bharatas. I descend from the Bharata Muni tradition, Bharatanaट्य Shastra tradition, and I'm also a Bharata. So the oldest existing work on theory and practice of ancient Indian performing arts is considered to be this Bharatanaट्य Shastra, which is a compendium. It offers fundamentals of theories. Example, Rasa and Dhvani, which developed further by Mammata in his Kavya Prakasha, Dhvanyaloka of Abhinava Gupta. These are two examples of how Bharata's theories and fundamentals were further developed by others. It is an encyclopedic text because it contains, it is amazing, theories and tenets for practice of theatre, aesthetics, and also elements of architecture, painting, prosody, language, grammar, phonetics, and other aspects related to theatre, and it draws on disciplines as diverse as philosophy, psychology, mythology, ritual, and geography. It indeed is mind-boggling. Now, Shastra, Natya Shastra. We'll come to Natya later because Natya will refer to mainly music and dance and therefore Abhinaya or expressive dance. But Shastra, the word, refers to all authoritative and systematic disciplines. They are normative as well as prescriptive. These are codes and manuals and treatises and texts and sciences. All this is contained in the word Shastra. So there is a Darshana Shastra, Dharma Shastra, Natya Shastra, Ayurveda Shastra, etc. Now, Natya Shastra, Abhinava Gupta, the 10th, 11th century, early 11th century, 7th sage scholar from Kashmir, the Kashmir Shaivism. He feels that entire Natya Shastra has been composed as answer to 5 questions raised in the very beginning of chapter 1, the first chapter. And this is very interesting because this is the Upanishadic tradition. Questions and Guru answers. It is not just a long spiel of words. First question, what is the origin of the Natya Veda and how it emerged? The word Natya Veda, I'll explain later why it is called Veda. Veda is basically Vidya. Any text that disseminates Vidya, knowledge, is Veda. But how Natya Shastra says Natya Veda is called in respect of its vast knowledge that it offers, that how it draws from the 4 Vedas different elements. I'll come to that later. First question, what is the origin of the Natya Veda and how it emerged? Second question, who are the adhikarins? That is, who are the entitled ones for its study? Unlike today, when with the Google Acharya, anyone can study anything, whatever you wish, it's at the tip of the Google. Number 3, how many components, elements are there? Fourth question, what are the specific means, pramana, of understanding Natya? And the fifth question, what is the prayoga of the Shastra? So Natya Shastra, unlike the other Shastras, is a prayoga Shastra. It is to be understood, learned, and practiced. Unless it is put into practice, it is not the complete study, and we have not understood Natya Shastra. So in the beginning of another chapter, that is chapter 6, another set of 5 questions are asked by pupils. First is nature of the rasa. Why are they called rasa as such? Now, as we know that there are many, many key words to understand Bharatiya Paramparas, Bharatiya Darshan. And behind all the arts, visual, plastic, performing arts, the principles emerge from the philosophy of those particular forms. It's amazing. I think this is the only country in the world, perhaps, where all the art forms are informed by philosophy, darshana. So, nature of the rasa, and the rasa is one of those key words, as I said. Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. Like that, there are some keywords. Parampara, Rudhi, Rasa is just a 2-letter word, 2 letters. But it comprises the entire universe. There is no universe, no creation without rasa. The second question there in the chapter 6th, why bhava are called bhava? What is the cause for their all-pervasiveness? So beautiful. I mean, these questions can be answered again and again and again according to Desha and Kala. Number 3, what is the nature of sangraha, abridgment? Even Natya Shastra maybe has not been able to give in totality what all there that exists within this country, this bhumi. So it's a sangraha, sangrahit ideas, sangrahit tenets, principles, concepts. Number 4, what is the nature of nirukta, etymology? Number 5, what is the nature of the karika, that is aphoristic statement in verse and form, in verse form? My God, I mean, when I'm rereading, it's so important that how terminologies were formed and how important it is to understand the terminology in today's context. So Natya Shastra's first chapter clearly states what influence this will have on various people in varied situations. I'm taking you to some of the important ideas contained there, according to me. It says, Dharmo dharma pravrittanam kamah kamopasevitam nigraho durvinitanam vinitanam damakriya. 106, 107th shloka. Dukha daritrata mein man mein sthirta dega. What? The study of Natya Shastra. And therefore, majorly of dance and music, chapters on dance and music. In sorrow and in poverty, it will give you control. Abodh ko bodh milega, those who are ignorant will get some knowledge. Vibodha, jnani ko aur vaidushya, panditya milega, and those who are already knowledgeable they will accrue more knowledge, more understanding, deeper understanding, and udvignata me dhriti, dhairya. And those who cannot control, who are udvigna, who are always worried, they will get dhairya, patience, saburi. I mean, the concepts are so vast and so all comprising, so noble, so generous. It is just like Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It is not for I, me, myself, but it is for everybody in every possible situation. Then Nana Bhavopasampannam Nana Vasthantaratmanam Lokavrittanukaranam Natyam Etanmaya Kritam. Shlok 109, that's what Bharata says, Bharata Muni, that it comprises so many bhavas, so many emotions and feelings, and nana avasthan, so many conditions, states of being, lokavrittanukaranam, and all that is happening around us in this loka, in this samaj, in the society around us, all that anukaranam, this describes in dance and music, in natya, in nata, in abhinaya, what is happening around us. Natyam etad. And then that is why I've created this whole Natya Veda. I've created this parampara of Natya. He says, Dukkhartanam, Shamartanam, Shokartanam, Tapasvinam, Vishrama Jananam Kale Natyam etad bhavishyati. Shloka 112 and 113. It's very simple to understand how the study of Natya Shastra, how the practice, prayoga, and understanding dance and music helps dukkhartanam, those who are arta, जो दुख से आर्त भाव से पड़े हुए हैं, विचारे हैं, क्षमार्तानाम, जो थके हुए हैं, शोकार्तानाम, सौरों में डूबे हुए हैं, पीड़ा में हैं, तपस्वी नाम, जो तप करते हैं, तपस्वी, विश्राम जननम काले, इन सब को विश्राम चाहिए, शांति चाहिए, ऐसे वक्त में नाट्यम एतद भविष्यति, ऐसे समय में नाट्य मदद करता है विश्राम, मन को विश्रांति देने में, शरीर को विश्रांति देने में, अपने आप को विश्रांति देने में. और फिर मेरा एक और फेवरेट श्लोक है, न तज ज्ञानम न तत्शिल्पम न सा विद्या न सा कला न तत्कर्म न सो योगो नाट्यस्मिन् यन्न दृश्यते. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. As Vyasa has said, Veda Vyasa has said in Mahabharata, for Mahabharata, there's nothing in this world, no situation, no condition, no being, no feeling that does not exist in Mahabharata. If it is not in Mahabharata, it doesn't exist anywhere else. This is exactly that. There is no jnana, knowledge. Na tat shilpam. Shilpa is not only sculpture, but all that is created. Nasa vidya, any knowledge system. Nasa kala, any art form. Na tat karma, any action. Naso yogo, any yoga, whether sahaja yoga, nada yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, 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 yoga. We have so many yogas. Natyasmin yanna drishyate, which you cannot perceive in the performance of Natya. The greatness of Natya Shastra is that it is also a reminder, a constant reminder to all of us slightly cynical people of 21st century कि हम भूल जाते हैं बार बार, पैसा कमाना है, कंपनी में काम करना है, जॉब चाहिए, ये करना है, गाड़ी लेनी है, शादी करवानी है, बच्चों को एजुकेशन दिलवाना है. I mean, there are 100,000 things in which we are mired. हम भूल जाते हैं कि जीवन जो मिला है, मनुष्य देह मिला है, उसको सार्थक कैसे करना है. How to live our lives beyond, much beyond these daily Rosemarre ki zindagi, daily concerns. And therefore, it's very important. I have quoted the shloks, very important to be reminded again and again that the beauty, Satyam Shivam Sundaram, that Sundaram is very important, by through which Shiva, Mangala, Shubha, Kalyan happens, and that alone is the Satya, the eternal truth, the perennial truth, Shashvatam. So I like to repeat these adage, the sutras again and again. फिर मैं ये कहती हूँ कि जो चौथा, द फोर्थ चैप्टर जो है नाट्यशास्त्र का, उसको एक अलग नाम टाइटल करके भी लिखा गया बाद में, तांडव लक्षणम. Now, Tandava here does not refer alone to the male form of dance, the strong, vibrant, very heavy footed sometimes, but it's a generic term for dance, Tandava Lakshanam. And the famous postures, they are called karanas on the temples, especially Tamil Nadu temples of Chidambaram Shiva temple, Sarangapani temple, Vishnu temple in Kumbakonam, and the Brihadishwara, again the great Shiva temple in Tanjavur. The 108, now 108 is a very, very, हमारे लिए बहुत पवित्र संख्या है. वैसे प्रत्येक संख्या पवित्र है, एक से लेके लक्ष लक्ष कोटि कोटि, लेकिन ये 108 जपमाला में होते हैं, 108 नाम है, 108 बहुत सारी चीजें हैं. सो 108 करण है. करण इज टू डू, क्रिया, कर्म, करण. कैसे होता है, उसकी शुरुआत, उसका मध्य भाग और एंड में पोस्चर कैसा होगा. दिस एंटायर प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड करण, एंड दिस इज गिवन इन तांडव लक्षणम. 108 इन मंदिरों की दीवारों पे, द्वारों पे बनाए हुए हैं. कभी आप जाएं तो स्वयं देखिए, वरना गूगल कर लीजिए. एंड क्वाइट अ फ्यू ऑफ देम लगता है कि एक्रोबैटिक्स हैं, जो आज आपको टीवी के जो शोज होते हैं, बॉलीवुड का है, उसमें दिखाई देता है. वी कॉल इट कंटेम्पररी और वी कॉल इट एक्रोबैटिक्स. लेकिन these are all part of the total entire art of dance in भारतवर्ष. तो कुछ लास्यमय है, कुछ तांडव है, कुछ एक्रोबैटिक्स लाइक हैं, बंध नृत्य उसको कहते हैं. जब हम अकेले इनको निकाल के करते हैं, when we separate these acrobatic postures from the 108, then it is also called बंध नृत्य. शरीर को बांध के, शरीर को बांध के यानी not tied down, but to use the body in a way that you can depict. अब वो उसकी तो बहुत सारी चर्चा भी है, लेकिन यहाँ पर जो है तंजावुर का शिव मंदिर है बृहदीश्वर, उसमें 108 नहीं है, उसमें मात्र 87, 87. Whereas in Chidambaram and Sarangpani temple, they are female dancers. In Tanjavur temple, the 87 postures are by the four-armed Shiva himself. And then there are empty tablets, stone tablets, which is obvious that they could not finish. तो ये करना बहुत एक नाट्य के जो दो अंग हैं, एक है नृत्य, एक है नृत्य. तो नृत्य हम जिसको कहते हैं, जिसमें भाव नहीं है, भाव है तो प्रसन्न है, प्रसन्न भाव से नृत्य करना, छंद ताल पे नृत्य करना, राग रागणियों पे नृत्य करना, लेकिन उसमें किसी पात्र का, कैरेक्टर, कंडीशन, स्टेट ऑफ बीइंग का कोई उसमें डिपिक्शन नहीं होता है. सो नृत्य जनरली वी, when we want to translate it into English, is just, as we say, what shall we say? It's creating designs in space. It is creating different cycles of rhythm and dancing to those, where footwork, the body postures, the hasta mudras, they come into being in a big way. It's like creating designs in space where eyes and eyebrows and the neck movements also. So the entire thing is like embroidery. Very beautiful. But the other one, this is Nritya. That is, the dance is informed by expressions, by feelings, by bhava, your innermost feelings and your observations of things around you, the situations that are created in life, the Puranic characters, the Upanishadic characters, the Vedic characters, the stories of birds and beasts and pranis and pashus and pakshis and gods and goddesses and demons and princes and princesses and kings and queens and ordinary people, male, female, children. In short, all that consists in this world. And we try to depict them in a way that the feelings blossom and the feelings convey to the audience. And this is where I want to bring you back to rasa, the word rasa. Rasa, what shall we say? Taste, rasa, essence, rasa, the juice, rasa, rasa bhava, feelings. So when the dancer, the performer, the actor has absorbed so much, absorbed the technique from the guru, absorbed and understood the observations he or she has made herself also, has learned from the guru some typical stories which are conveyed, which are usually taught. Sab kuch mila ke, then what is the juice, what is the rasa? It comes out of me in another transformative way. I am depicting my Krishna. I am not depicting Jayadeva's Krishna. I'm not depicting Gita's Krishna. I'm not depicting Vedavyasa's Krishna. I'm not depicting Chaitanya's Krishna or Meera's Krishna. I will depict Sona's Krishna. And maybe little elements from here and there. But my own innermost feelings have brought out this Krishna, this Radha, this Sita, this Rama. I will not talk about Nita and Suresh. I may not talk about Ananda and Rasika. But why these archetypal characters are used to depict Abhinaya and stories? Because they all have an Upadesha. It is not just to entertain. Our dances, the traditional dances, the Shastric dances, are not just to entertain. Manoranjan is there, of course. They are supposed first to delight the eyes and enchant the ears, and then take you above them, take you to a level of transcendence where the dancer, the actor, performer is conveying something much more, which was hidden until then. And that is rasa nishpatti. That is from where the rasa begins to emerge. And that rasa is carried across to the audience, to the darshaka. And rasa svadana, the audience tastes that rasa, feels that rasa, experiences that rasa. So dancer is not dancing rasa. Dancer is dancing rasa bhava. From the bhava comes rasa nishpatti, and carried across, communicated. The audience feels that rasa, experiences rasa svadana. So I came to this from the Karanas, that Vritta, that is all Vritta. And again, talking about the 108, as I said, there are the masculine, the Tandava, the Lasya Karanas. And very interestingly, they have beautiful names. Harina Plutam, Garuda Plutam, the leap of the Harina, of the deer. Garuda, eagle, the way it takes off. And Vidyuta Bhranta, when suddenly the lightning falls, lightning happens, you have Vidyuta Bhranta. So 108 names you can go through them and understand how beautiful they are. Gangavataranam, where the feet go up as the Ganges descended on earth. There is Shakatasya, like the wheels, and there is Latavrishchikam, like a scorpion climbing on a creeper. Lalata Tilakam, what we know as Urdhva Tandava of Shiva, that one leg is completely held vertically up, but then the foot with the big with the thumb, with the big toe, as if you are applying tilaka. Just imagine Lalata Tilakam, Garuda Prutakam, and Harinya Prutak, Vishnu Krantam. Yeah, just see Vishnu Krantam, the story, you know the story of Vamana, the fifth avatar of Vishnu, Mahavishnu. And in his fifth avatar, Vamana is a dwarf, and he begs for the three steps worth of land for Bhumi. And the arrogant King Bali says, yes, I grant you. And with one foot, one step covers the earth, second step covers the heaven, sky, space, and holds up again the right foot and says, the third step, where shall I place it? So when the second step, he's Mahavishnu, Vaman becomes Mahavishnu, and the leg is straight up there as if measuring the space. That is the Vishnu Krantam. And that is one of the 108 Karanas. There are 32 Angaharas, Pindi Bandhas. Now, these are all the names contained in Natya Shastra, which are very technical, where Adavus, basic units, like it's just like taking a letter, making a word, word makes a sentence, sentences make a paragraph, and paragraphs make a nibandha, an essay or a short story or a poem or a play or a novel. So these are the building blocks of Natya, especially Nritta, the pure or abstract dance. Now, how to purify performance space? This is also very, very important, because nowadays, of course, you stand somewhere, you're made to stand in a studio. I've often observed that, unlike in the good times, even if you did not place a deity on stage, Nataraja, Jagannatha, Sri Ganesh, anything, or I did not ever place, I still do not place anything on stage, because the Ranga Mancha, that itself is the Ranga Mandira, that is our temple. And I am the Pujarini, I'm the worshipper. And putting the first foot on stage, before that, we do our namaskaras and we sanctify the stage, the performing area, with the mango leaves and water sprinkling, with the dhupa, deepa, naivedya, and pray that may the space become the temple for everyone, the darshakas, and may the divine presence bless us. So it's very important to sanctify this stage, the space, and how to purify. That is elaborately the vidhi, the process explained. The jarjari is one of the very, very important elements which we now don't do, in Natya especially. That is the combined prayoga of dance, acting, and music. The jarjari, that is the danda, specially sanctified danda, is placed. Now that is also called the Vignaharta. It removes all the vignas, obstacles, and difficulties. I would also say that irshyas and black eyes that people throw, and the jarjari, that is Indradhvaja, which was placed in the beginning of Natya Shastra when the reenactment of Samudra Manthana, the Prayoga, began. Before that, jarjari was established, so even today it's done. Sprinkling water, etc. Kalasha Sthapana. So the kalasha of copper or bronze or even earth is placed with the mango leaves and the shripara, the coconut. And this depicts the universe and all the flora, fauna, everything and that is, as we use in Navaratri also, that is established, Karasthapana. Then Nandi is sung. That is a melodious prayer, and it has translated now into Mangala Charana, Stuti, Mallari, Bhumi Pranam, Ishtadeva Mandana, etc. Now, because dance and music are the two main elements, they are anukriti. Anukriti is, I won't say mimicking or following or what is the word? Iska anukaran karna, lekin त्रैलोक्यस त्रैलोकस्य अस्य सर्वस्य नाट्यम भावानुकीर्तनम. I'm sorry, it's very cold in Delhi. So Natyam Bhavanukirtanam, as I said just now, a little time ago, that Natya अनुसरण करता है भाव को, इह जगत, त्रैलोक्य, परलोक, इहलोक, सबके भाव का अनुकरण करता है. And we follow all that happens in this world and all that happens in our imagination, all that happens in our creative, imaginative world, that we bring forth Natyam Bhavanu Kirtanam. Now I come to the technique. Angabhanga, for the dancer especially. Angabhanga begins with the spine, the straight spine, the Brahmadanda, the Meru Danda, our spine. From there emanates everything. So spine has to be Yatha Pinde Tatha Brahmande. The Meru is straight. The Prithvi's Meru is slightly askance, but our Meru is straight. We don't go like that. And Samabhanga, that is when we are absolutely balanced. There are many vigrahas, many images of Buddha standing straight. There is Abhanga with one knee slightly flexed, एक घुटना थोड़ा सा झुका हुआ, जैसे श्री राम खड़े होते हैं, कई मूर्तियों में, कई पेंटिंग्स में हैं, ये इनका विशेष पोस्चर है. त्रिभंग, वाह 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 वाह, जिसमें गला, कटी और जानु यानी घुटना. Where Tribhanga is where you break the neck, break meaning you it's askance, and the waist and the knees. So Tribhanga, and this is very, very beautifully depicted in Odissi, especially the dance of Odisha. And Atibhanga, when the dancer is in ecstasy or in the middle of a lot of whirlwinds, the pirouettes, the brahmaris, that is where Atibhanga happens. I have a very interesting example in the spiritual dimension. Okay, Samabhanga is the Surya, is straight. It doesn't go here, it doesn't go there, it's straight, Surya. Abhanga, like the earth, as I said, earth is on this dhuri, rotating around the sun, the earth. Tribhanga, the Saptarshis, or Krishna, Sri Krishna, and Atibhanga, all going helter-skelter like Dhumaketu striking, that is Atibhanga, and I found that as a very interesting spiritual explanation. And therefore, the Laya, Vilaya, Pralaya, that is the Gati Bheda. Laya ho gaya. But Laya here is also the speed in which Laya. Pralaya is, of course, like the tsunami, where it goes faster, 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 faster. It overtakes, it overwhelms, and you sink in it. And Vilaya, where Laya slowly fades out. So the three Laya speeds are, of course, Gati, Manda, and middle, and that is Vilambita, and Madhya, the more Vilambit your Nishwasa breath, the longer you live, the quieter you are, the deeper you go. And that is the Vilambita. The Vilambita dancing and singing is very difficult. And if you have heard Dhrupada, the Drupad, our ancient form of music. Dhrupad begins with Om, and extremely it is Ati Vilambita. And then it slowly comes to Vilambita. Then it comes to Madhya. Then Dhruta Madhya. And then Dhruta faster and Ati Dhruta faster, faster, faster. So this is how I think our life is also begins with the Vilambita birth and the babyhood, childhood. And we come to the Kishoravastha, Shishu, Balya, Kishoravastha, Yauvanavastha. And then faster, 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 faster. And then we come back becoming older, and the Gati becomes slower. And then we become slower. And again, we go to the Vilambita and then Vilaya. Okay. Now I want to bring you to the Rasa, the theory of Rasa a little bit, as is applicable in dance. I'll first go to dance and to music. Keep an eye on time. Okay. The theory of Rasa is, because it's very simple, basically. Our life is all entwined with Rasa. There is Sringara, not Singar, not applying Bindi and Kajal, but Sringar. And I asked my very dear friend, whom I respect so much, Dr. Lokesh Chandraji, I said, please tell me the etymology of Sringar, the Nishpatti from the word. And he said, Shrunga means Shikhara, the highest point. Shrunga also means horns, because they are the highest point on an animal's body. So, Shikhara. Ara, ala, ara, like ear, and ja, like ba and va. Shringa ala, alankrita. Shringa is alankritam. Therefore, the most decorated, highest point of bhava, of feeling. I thought that was so beautiful. Maybe that is that. I don't know. I've never heard anyone give me any other explanation. So I wanted to share it with you. That Sringar, that Utkata Bhava, you at the point of union in love, it's called Rasa Samadhi. There is the Yoga Samadhi. This is Rasa Samadhi. Why? Because Raso Vaisaha and Rasananda has been equated with Brahmananda. The final point of suddenly the Brahma Jnana striking, and that Utkata Bhava, the highest point of union, where there is no two, there is only one, Rasa Samadhi. And therefore, Sringara is the very first, Adi Rasa it's been called, the very first, the first, ancient, Adi. From there emerges Hasya. Hasya is not ha ha ha, but Hasya means enjoyment, mirth, Sukshmatam. That Sringara, the fulfillment, emotional, physical, spiritual fulfillment, and it brings forth, when you come to your presence, then Hasya. And then the second one is Raudra, the main rasa, from which emerges Karuna. After you are angry and furious, you realize and you feel sad, you feel sorrowful, you feel remorse, Karuna, compassionate. There is the third rasa, Veera, heroic. And from why is he heroic? Why the Veera rasa, like Sri Rama breaking the great bow of Shiva? Adbhuta. From Veera emerges Adbhuta, wonderment, surprise. And the fourth is bibhatsa, something like smashana bhairava, like something that is so horrible. Mm. From there emerges bhayanaka. Mm. Mm. Oh, bhayanaka. So Natya Shastra has enumerated only 8. And it's called Navarasa because Abhinavagupta, to me, unnecessarily added Shanta as the 9th rasa. But I leave you with a question, not leave you, but I ask you a question for you to mull on. That rasa is a rasa pravaha. There are ups and downs. You are not always angry. You are not always feeling pathos or compassion or sad. You are not always laughing. These come and go like bubbles on, they are the rasa pravaha. In Shanta, there is no pravaha. There are no ups and downs. And therefore, I think Bharata was the wise one. He gave us only 8 from 4 and another 4. So Navarasas, I call them Ashtarasas. Now, every rasa has its color and presiding deity. I'm not going to take you into that because that you will have to search for yourself. It's very, very simple. It's all there. But I just marvel at Natya Shastra and Bharata Muni that to which extent he has taken this, that every rasa has a color. Yes, normally we say anger is red. We say asuya, that is irsha, jealousy, is green, the green-eyed monster. Sringara is pink, yellow, something. Veera, orange. So the dark colors are for Bhayanaka and Bibhatsa. So automatically the rasas are there, the colors are there, and the presiding deities are there, therefore, like Rudra. It's for Rudra. So I give you a little homework. You will do a lot of homework on that, I'm sure. Now I come to the Nrityabhinaya. Why such elaborate arrangements and which demand descriptions of every aspect of preparation and for presentation? Because art is divine. It raises levels of consciousness, awareness, wisdom, and even leads to enlightenment. They say Nritya is the easiest way to enlightenment because there Angika, Vachika, Aharya, Sattvika, all the 4 are together. The way you dress, that shows the quality of your being. Vachika, how you speak, reflecting your thoughts. Vichara, Vani, Vyahavara. And there is Bharati, that is this is Vachika, then Angika, the body, the way you hold yourself, the way you walk, the way you sit, the way you look at anyone, and Sattvika, what you really are inside. All these 4. And these come together in Nritya Yoga. I have given it the name Nritya Yoga about, I think, 20, 25 years ago. And now I've been talking about it, so a lot of other people have picked it up. I'm so happy because it must be the highest form of yoga. And sorry, I don't call it yoga, it's yoga, as in Sanskrit. And therefore, I believe that Mahadeva Devadhideva is given the title of Nataraja, not Gita Raja, Kavi Raja, Vaidya Raja, Neta Raja, only Nataraja, and Devi is called Nateshwari. And I think we should be proud of that. So it leads to enlightenment. Nritya Yoga as the highest point of self, culmination of all performance and visual arts. Now, dance uses the body as instrument. I'll come to music very quickly because there you have the veena, the mridanga, the venu, the manjira, the everything. But for the dancer, the body is the only instrument on which she or he plays. Oh, so train and tune it like an instrument. And that is our daily sadhana, daily tapasya, the different forms of yogasan, different exercises, and angabhangas that are described. The griva chalan of 9 types, only the griva, 9 types. Sama, nata, unnata, tesra, rechita, kunchita, anchita, valita, nivrita. Oh my God. And the nostrils and the hips and the cheeks. I've noted all that down, but it will take time. So maybe I'll share it with Rishaji for your easy approach. And I told you about Angika, Vachika, Aharya, Satvika, the 4 kinds of Abhinaya. Very beautifully described in the shlok. Angikam bhuvanam yasya vachikam sarvamangmayam aharyam chandra taradi tam namas satvikam shivam. Satvikam shivam, all that is beatitude, beauty, kalyana, shubha, mangala, auspicious, that is Shiva, and that is Satvika. So how do we come to the Satvika Bhava? Angikam bhuvanam yasya, whose body is the entire universe. This is my individual universe. Angikam bhuvanam yasya vachikam sarvamangmayam. Vangmaya is not only literature, every spoken word, all kinds of sounds, all that is vachik. And that's what we use in our music, in our songs, in our spoken words, in our recitations. Angikam bhuvanam yasya vachikam sarvamangmayam aharyam. The decoration, the embellishment, Chandra, the full moon or the second day, the Bija Chandra or the half Ardha Chandra or the full Chandra, Aharyam Chandra Taradi, the stars. The moon and the stars are Shiva's ornaments for me also. These are the embellishments that we wear. And tam namas satvikam shivam. And when I use all this to perfection with the body instrument tuned to the T, I create the Sattvika Shiva within me. And this is, I feel so good, even just sharing it, that there is the possibility of this kind of life, this kind of being, this kind of yaktitva. There's possibilities within all of us. The neck movements, I told you there are 9, then there are eyebrow movements. See, I find, I said this in Rajya Sabha also, the parliament. I said, you are all dancers, but you don't know, you are not aware. The difference between you and me is that I'm aware, I'm conscious, and I have learned when to raise one eyebrow, when to raise both eyebrows, when to do kunchita, anchita, when to playfully do this, when to do this, or when to do this, or when to use the hasta mudra. You don't know. You just do something you don't realize, but we are all basically dancers, so why don't you all learn dance and use the discipline to your advantage? 7 kind of eyebrow movements, bruchal. There are 6 kinds of, when you're happy, they're full, and when you're sad, so all that is there. There is the nasika, there is nata, manda, vikruta, 6 kinds of that. And 6 kinds of mouth, lips, adhara, oshtha, sucking in, smiling, chumbana, all that. Then, so the upangas, the major limbs of arms, legs, the torso, the head, and the upangas, the minor limbs. So just imagine in this one unit alone, you have griva, you have bhru, eyebrows, you have netra, eyes, you have the nostrils, nasika, you have the adhar oshtha, that is the mouth, you have the cheeks, kapola, and you have the griva, the neck. Oh, Attributes of a female dancer. I think that you should know that. Neither too tall or short, neither fat nor thin. Oh my. Nowadays, you see very thin dancers, and in the south, you'll find really buxom, well-fed dancers. But anyway, large eyes, well-formed body, intelligent. This is very important. Intelligent to pick up from where she left, or she made a mistake, to cover it up, or to listen to the music where the musician made a mistake, how to cover it up and how to get back into their rhythm. If something falls off from the embellishments, how to cover it up, how to push it off, or how to, while dancing, pick it up and again put it. All that is intelligence. Able to comprehend mood of audience, not go on dancing till only the chowkidar is left. ऐसा भी होता है कि गा रहे और दो लोग बचे हैं, बोले अरे बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, आप रसिक हैं। बोले नहीं जी, मैं दरी उठाने के लिए बैठा हूँ और मैं ताला मारने के लिए बैठा हूँ. So the mood of the audience has to be gauged, and the span, the duration of the dances, the performance, but also what kind of performance. So, and pratyutpannamati, able to correct on stage without break, as I mentioned. What are the attributes of male dancer? So naturally gifted has to be. Vilasa, able to appreciate and enjoy his art. Understanding of text and meaning he has to have. Physically fit. You can't have paunchy male dancers. My God, there are quite a few of them nowadays. Attractive personality, not arrogant, because the Purusha Sahaja stance, this male arrogance comes in. But the male dancer has to be very vinamra. The dancing should not, the arrogance should not emanate from the dance, and dedicated to Guru and the art. Now, this is not said about the female dancer. Just imagine. Bharata enumerates this only for the male dancer, because the female dancer by nature is Vinamra, Guru Agya Palanhari, and all that. I find this also very interesting. And quite a few times in my master classes, my male participants, suddenly they understand how they have been, how they are seen, and what they should do. Okay. Now I come to Prathamodhyaya. Yeah, okay. I want to quote only the first shloka now, which I should have quoted right at the beginning, doesn't matter. I'm coming back to the opening of Natya Shastra, the first chapter. And what stuti does Bharata do? Bharata Muni says, Pranamya Shirasa Devo. Yeah, Shirasa with the head bowed. So whenever we do pranam, we don't do pranam like that. The real pranam is bringing your palms together, fingertip to fingertip, and then bowing the head over it. That is the normal pranam. We do our pranam kneeling on the knees on the ground and putting our head at Guru's feet. Bharata Muni says, Pranamya Shirasa Devo Pitamaha Maheshwaro. He only bows his head to Pitamaha, that is Brahma, and to Mahadev, Maheshwara. Natya Shastram Pravakshyami Brahmana Yadudatraha. My question is, without being cheeky, and I leave this question with you, that normally we bow to Sri Ganesh at the beginning, we bow to Saraswati, the goddess of learning and all the arts and knowledge. We bow to Bhagavati, Nateshwari, and of course we bow to Shiva Nataraja. And many times then later on, we bow to Sri Krishna as the Nateshwara, Nataraja, what is his thing? Natanagara. Here he is only, Bharat Muni says, only to Pitamaha Brahma and to Maheshwaro. So I wanted somebody to explain this to me. Nobody has been able to explain that to me. Now, Gramyam Dharma Pravrittetu, Lobhamova, all that. I will skip that. And how he comes to the Bharatim, Satvatim, all that is there. Kaishiki Vritti. So what the word I want to tell you is Kaishiki Vritti. Vritti is your temperament, but vritti of dance, in dance, is the mode. And Kaishiki is the beautiful mode of dancing, which we normally watch and we perform. Kaishiki vritti. And then there is Sringara Sambhava, Lalita Vinay, Nashakya Purushaihi, Pajitra Lokasya, okay, Nigraha Vinaya. Now, what I have to come to are the, yeah, wait. Where is my, yeah. Now the music. I've said a lot about dance. I think I've told you about all the upangas, but what I left out was, maybe deliberately, the most important tattva element of hasta mudra, the hand gestures. Even an American or Red Indian, when you say Indian dancer, they say ah, 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 ah. So the hasta mudras and the neck movement are the most important elements for others to know. Hasta mudras are 28 of with one hand pataka, tripataka, arthapataka, kartari mukha, arala, shukatunda, mayura, katakamukha, mushti, shikhara, ardhachandra, chandrakala, suchi, padmakosha, alla padma, kapitha, two types of kapithas. And then there is, what is there? Hamsasya, simhamukha, hamsapaksha, Mrigashirsha, Brahmara, Chatura, Tamrachuda, Trishula, Mukula, Langula, Samdamsham, Trishula, all that has come. And then there are the Sayukta Hasta Mudras, and begins with Anjali, and then Kapotam, and Pushpaputam, and Karkatam, and Khatvam, and Dola, and Shankha, and Chakra, and Pasha, and Kilaka, and Nagabandha, Pataka Swastika, Kartari Swastika, Bherunda, Samputa, Garuda, I have left out some maybe, and Shakatavardhanascheva, etc. Now, these Hastamudras can be learned as Hastamudras, but why? So, the point is that Vini Yoga is very important. Vini Yoga, Prayoga, how do you use them? For example, if I say Pataka, the first Hastamudra. Pataka literally means the Dhvaja, pennant, flag. Pataka. With the Pataka, Natyarambe, Vari Vahe, Vane Vastu Nishedana, etc. How, what, all you can show. You can show Vastu Nishedana, no, at the beginning of a performance, Natyarambe, Vari Vahe, the clouds which contain rain, the water, and Vane, all the Vana, the creepers and all, and breeze and waves on water, and Ghana Tape, the heat, and to say no, and to say, not to say, but to, what's a thappad, I'll slap you, and to show Nripa with the mukuta, and khadga to cut with the sword, and to say you and me and here and there and all and come. You can use, go on using beyond what Bharata Natya Shastra has said. So these Hasta Mudras are the life, I would say, of dance in Bharata Bhumi, because these are the outer, outgoing gestures. The second most important element I would consider are the eyes. The eyes in pure dance, ta te te yum tat tang te, and round and up and down and sideways and half and round, like all that is there. But in Abhinaya, even without doing anything, how much you can do with eyes? Just try. Look in the mirror or try with your husband or wife or children. So I consider the Lochana Netra very, very important. I Hastamudra ho gaya. I come to music quickly. There are 7 notes. like in do, le, mi, fa, sol, fa, si. Even the Western music has 7 notes, and they begin with Sharja. Sharja is shown by, we say it's a peacock calling, the Sharja. Rishabha Re is the Chataka bird. Gandhara is the small goat, Chiri, the small goat, Age. And Madhyama is the Krauncha Pakshi. Panchama is the cuckoo, Koyala. Dhaivata is the frog. Manduka Nishada is the call of the elephant. And these are the 7 notes, basic 7 notes. Then there are 12 Shrutis, they say the in between, Komala and Tivra. The harsh, the hard, the upper notes, with the one note, there's upper and the lower. So like Madhyama has only upper, Gandhara has only lower, Rishabha is only lower, but the Nishada has Tivra as well as Komal, all that. But what makes it very interesting is also that our music, Shastriya Sangeet, has unlimited shrutis, uh, the micro notes, unlimited micro notes. From Sharja to Rishabha, how do you meander like birds in sky or like fish in water, and you achieve Rishabha? Now there lies the samarthya of the musician, whether instrumentalist or vocalist. So there are 4 kinds of instruments. Tat, that are the string instruments. Tat, veena, sitar, sarod, etc. Avanagha, which are covered with skin, like mridangam, pakhavaj, nak, dhol. Ghana, the metal instruments, cymbals, manjira, jhanj. Sushil, which play through the modulation of wind, prabaha, vayu prabaha, like the flute, the trombone. The Western instruments, there are many more. We have majorly flute, shehnai, and muhuri. And these are very, very interesting. The tala, because here the swaras, 7 swaras, the kind of instruments, and then the tala. As I said earlier in Bhavaraga tala, the basic units are Chaturasra, 4 beats, Tishram, 3 beats, Khanda, 5 beats, Misra, 7 beats, Sankirna, 9 beats, and the main 7 rhythmic cycles, main or patterns, rhythmic patterns, Dhruvo, Matyo, Rupakascha, Jhampa, Triputamevacha, Attatale, Katalascha, Saptatala, Prakirtitaha. Now, Dhruva refers to today's Ada Chautal. Matya refers to Surfak. Rupak is Dadra, today's Dadra, 3. Jhampa, Jhaptal, 10. And Triputa, Tevra. Attatala, Deepchandi, 14 matras. Triputa, 7 matras. And Ekatal, 12 matras. The Gatis, as I explained, speed, Vilampita, Madhya, Druta. Now I come to the Ragas, the melodies. Now there is no exact translation for Raga. With this I'll finish. I think I'm overlapping, but as I told you, I'm sorry, it's 7 o'clock. I'm sorry, it's an ocean. Please forgive me. So Hindustani, Karnataka, Odia, the 3 systems of music in India, they're time-bound. The Hindustani is time-bound. But then I had some very interesting, I'll give it to Richa. But I'll just mention that the ragas, as in Shastra, are linked to 6 seasons. Winter, that is Shishira. And like they say, Raga Shri should be sung with the Raginis. Malavi, Gauri, Kedari, Triveni are the Raginis of Rag Shri, which should be sung in winter. In Vasanta Ritu, in spring, the Raga Vasanta is main, but the Raginis are Deshi, Vairati, Devagiri, Todi, Lalat, Hindol. I just wanted to give you this because the varieties that are available to us. In Carnatic music, they have 72 Medakartas. Some similarly in Hindustani, they call 12 thats. And then in late autumn, there's November, Hemanta, there is Varsha, monsoon, there is Grishma, summer, Vasanta. How much is there? And I've not even touched upon the literature, the literary aspect that informs Abhinaya, Natya. I mean, the stories from Puranas, Vedas, the stories from Upanishads, Mahabharata, Ramayana, epics, modern day stories, Jabala, from whom Jabalpur has been named, the Panchakanyas. I mean, you know, and as I said, they're all Upadeshatmaka. Even the simple episode of Krishna fighting with Kali and Naga, the black cobra, poisonous cobra in the river Yamuna, by which Yamuna became poisonous, frothing, foaming, green, stinking. That's a description given in Srimad Bhagavad Purana. And Krishna fights with the 100,000 hoods of poison spewing cobra and vanquishes and dances on the hoods and just surrenders. The snake cobra surrenders. Krishna doesn't kill. So there the compassion. And first is the Veera, from which Adbhuta, Krishna dancing on 1,000 hoods, and then compassion, Karuna, and asking it to go away from the habitations, and then Bhakti, Vah, Hasya, Adbhut, Vah, and Shringar, that Krishna, that dancing Krishna, the Shringar emerges in the hearts of the gopis. So much is there. But why I say this episode is Upadeshatmak, today's Yamuna, today's Ganga, there's a huge project in India, Bharat. The rivers are polluted. We will fight for drinking water very soon. Who is Krishna? Krishna is all of us. Krishna is not Supreme Court. Krishna is not the government. Krishna is each one of us. And Krishna, Sri Krishna, Kaliya teaches us to be that. So like that, we have to draw the sattvika, the sattva, the essence from each of these. And this, our great literature, literary heritage, the great paramparas, give us so much to chew on, to dance with, to sing, to praise, to be namra, humble, and to share. Thank you very much. I've finished. Thank you. Oh my God. Sorry.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was an extremely rasatmik sharing and really insightful session for all of us. Would it be okay for a couple of questions?
Okay. Is there still time?
Yes, if it's okay with you, ma'am.
A little bit okay, not too much okay, because then I have to go for a meeting.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll keep it very brief. Yeah. Yes, Sureshji, if you could unmute yourself.
Namaste. Am I audible?
Namaste. Yes, you are audible, sir. Yes. Please. Huh? Go on.
Sureshji, you are on mute. We are not able to hear you. Yeah.
Prathamatāh mamas pranaman svikaratu Mataji. Bhavantaha.
Don't call me Mataji. I'm not Mataji. I'm only Sonalji.
Bhagini.
Okay. Thank you.
Bhavantaha upanyasam bahu sundaramasti. Bhavatyah namapi ati sulhamasti. Sonali Mansingh.
Not Sonali, sir. Sonala. Simple.
Sonala.
Sonal. Golden. That is
gold. Yes.
Okay.
See, you let me come into English. you told that male characteristics are different from female characteristics. But now, after listening to your enlightened lecture, you have attained that stage because of your name. You attained name and fame also. Man, Manasing. So man, you will be able to attribute the characteristics of man also.
There's no man. Man is man. Man. It's not man sing. It's
Manaha.
Manam. That is.
Kanthe nalambayet. Kanthe nalambayet Geetam.
It's like the proud lion. Man Singh is proud, noble lion. That's what.
Manaha. Iti manaha. I think, am I audible, madam?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Okay.
So what's the question?
It is not direct question. Rasaha definition is required in detail if possible. How it is connected with the hands and sight and actions. These three things together. Rasovaisaha. You told no? Rasovaisaha.
In detail, it's not possible to go into detail now, as I said. My time is very limited.
Okay.
But you want this
Synchronization
and Abhinaya and all that together in this little space. If I have to show, I will just show.
Yato hasta tato dristihi.
I will just show. Yeah. Yato hasta tato drishi, tato mana tato bhava, tato rasa. Okay. But in this little frame, I can't do all that. I will just try my best that if I and from here, if I take the shlok, you know the shlok, no? Ratrir Gamishyati Bhavishyati Suprabhatam Bhasvanudeshyati Hasishyati Pankajashriyam Ityam Ityam Vichintya Kosha Gate Dvirefe Ha Hanta Hanta Nalinim Gajamujjahara. You know that shlok. So if I have shown the full-blown lotus and the greedy Brahmara who doesn't go away at sunset and is caught in the lotus closes, but the Brahmara is very, very positive thinking. Ratri Gamishyati Bhavishyati Suprabhatam. The Ratri will end and Suprabhatam will happen. Bhasvanu Deshyati Hasishyati Pankajashriyam. The sun will shine and once again the lotus will open. Itam Vichintya Kosha Gate Dvirefe. And thus thinking, who is thinking that? Kosha Gate Dvirefe, inside. Ha Hanta Hanta, Are Are, oh alas, Nalinim Gajamujjahara. The elephant comes and tramples the lotus with the foot. Now, what do you say? There is Hastamudra, there is Bhava, and there is Upadesha. Okay? Next.
Wow, that was really amazing. I am really in wonderment, ma'am. We also have Rajiv ji. If you could keep your question really brief, sir, it would be really nice.
नमस्कार मैम, मैं ये पूछना चाह रहा हूँ कि भावना अच्छी भी हो तो कभी कभी ऐसा हो जाता है कि मन में जो चिंताएं हैं वो गलत विचार पैदा करती हैं, तो मन को संयम में कैसे रखा जाए, उस पे कुछ विचार आप दे पाएं?
ये तो मैंने इसमें कह ही दिया है कि भरत मुनि ने और भरत मुनि के अनेक पूर्व नाट्याचार्यों ने, हमारे गुरु ने, और मैं भी जो सिखाती हूँ, काउंसलिंग करती हूँ, जीवन में कोई न कोई कला का आश्रय लेना अच्छा होता है। कला का आश्रय लेना, कला सीखना तो एक चीज होती है, सीख लिया, और फिर रोजमर्रे की जिंदगी में पैसा कमाने की चिंता में वो कला को भूल भी गए। लेकिन जब आपका जीवन कला पर आश्रित होगा कि आपके बाकी के कामों के साथ, पैसे कमाने के साथ, व्यवहार जो संसारिक व्यवहार है उसको निभाने के साथ, यदि कला पे आश्रित जीवन है, तो आप, जैसे मैं करती हूँ कि मेरे भी जीवन में बहुत उतार चढ़ाव आए हैं। आज मैं भले पद्म विभूषण हूँ, सांसद हूँ, आई वाज नॉट ऑलवेज लाइक दैट, हमेशा नहीं थी, बहुत उतार चढ़ाव आए हैं। लेकिन कोई श्लोक याद आता है, कोई भजन याद आता है, कोई पद याद आता है, मैं गुनगुनाती रहती हूँ, मैं गाती हूँ। या जब मेरा एक्सीडेंट हुआ 1974 में जर्मनी में, रीढ़ की हड्डी टूट गई, पता है आपको? आज भी 12वीं जो डिस्क कहते हैं वो नहीं है, चूर हो गई थी। 11 और 12वीं के बीच में एक छोटा नई हड्डी निकली थी, उसी के पर मैं सहारे से जिंदा हूँ, काम कर रही हूँ। तो जब मेरा 4 किलो का ये प्लास्टर कास्ट था, 4 पसलियां टूटी हुई थी, कॉलर बोन आज भी नहीं है, बायां वाला चूर हो गया, नहीं है, देखिए। तो यहाँ पड़े पड़े अस्पताल में मात्र सीलिंग दिखती थी, लेकिन मन में मुंह से कुछ न कुछ राम रामेति रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यम राम नाम वरानने, कुछ न कुछ निकलता था। और उसने मुझे पूरा 11 महीना सस्टेन किया, जब तक मैं ठीक होके वापस आई। तो मेरे कहने का तात्पर्य ये है कि कुछ भी है तो अंगुली, अच्छा चिंता में हूँ, सूची हस्त हो गया, क्या बात है, अल्ल पद्म हो गया, वाह वाह वाह, 2 पताका हो गई। ये भी सोचने से आपका मन थोड़ा सा हल्का हो जाता है, और फिर आप दूसरों को देखने की प्रवृत्ति भी कर सकते हो कि लोग कितने बेढंगे हैं, कितने बेसुरे हैं, कितने बेताले हैं, कैसे फसर फसर चलते हैं, कैसे उठते बैठते हैं, शरीर का भान नहीं, कहाँ जा रहे हैं भान नहीं। आप यदि अपनी कला को, कुछ साहित्य को, कुछ गाना, कुछ थोड़ा हस्त मुद्रा, कुछ ताल, पैर चलाना, जो योगासन करते हैं, पैर चलाना भी सीखिए। आई कॉल डांस द डायनामिक योग। मात्र योग करना एक अलग चीज है, वो तो करना चाहिए, मन को धैर्यवान बनाना। उसके साथ आप डायनामिक योग जोड़ेंगे, कुछ प्रवृत्ति करते रहेंगे, 5 मिनट, 10 मिनट, 15 मिनट, आपके 2 कान यूं पकड़ के उठ बैठ करेंगे। ये पुरानी पनिशमेंट कहते थे, पनिशमेंट नहीं है ये, अभी साइंटिफिक हमें पश्चिम वाले सिखा रहे हैं कि दिस एंशिएंट पनिशमेंट इन इंडिया वाज टू एनर्जाइज। प्रवाह शुरू होता है, यहाँ पहुंचता है मस्तिष्क में, आप ऊर्जावान होते हो, यहाँ करके देखिए। तो बहुत तरीके हैं भैया, फूल को देखिए, आनंद में है। कोई फूल नहीं सोच रहा कि मुझे कोई देख रहा है कि नहीं, मुझे कोई अप्रिशिएट एडमायर कर रहा है कि नहीं, ना ना, उसका रंग है, सुगंध बिखेरता है। तो हमें वो फूल बनना है, फूल बनिए ना, FOOL नहीं, पुष्प मैं कह रही हूँ। हंसते रहिए मेरी तरह, हंसते रहिए, ओके
जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
चलिए, आप सबको धन्यवाद, आप सबको बहुत नमस्कार। आप लोग भगवत प्रिय हो, कलाश्रय आपका जीवन हो, और तन्मयता से आप जिए, कल्याण हो, शुभ हो, भगवती सबका कल्याण करें। प्रणाम।
Pranam, Guruji. Thank you so much for this session, ma'am.
My
Thank you so
pleasure,
much.
my pleasure. Thank you.
We can end today's session on that rasatmik note with a small prayer.
Namaste. Thank you all. We'll meet again tomorrow. Namaste.